Good morning, America, and good afternoon, Europe. Thank you for joining us today in this webinar. I am Ana Quevedo, the International Sales Manager for the Cosmetic Department at Sucre Research. Well, let us start the presentation. 360 solar testing in vivo and in vitro. I hope you find it useful. Please use the question and answer section to write questions during the presentation, and I will answer some at the end, at the webinar end. About this webinar. We will focus this webinar on the following topics. First, in vitro and in vivo test method, and the advantage of performing that with us. At the same time, I will talk about the innovating claims to make your products stand out in the market. I will also share details on other studies that can provide added value, such as the impact of the UV rays on the skin microbiome or blue light in vitro and in vivo studies. And finally, we will talk about our facilities, timelines, and internal process. I know many of you have a lot of experience with solar formulation. The cosmetic industry, government organization, and responsible consumer require sunscreen efficacy tests and claim on the packaging. And you ask yourself, why test the safety and the efficacy of my solar product? We know the importance of skin protection against solar radiation. And for these reasons, we want to highlight the importance of testing this type of products before selling them in the market. Sun care products require safety and efficacy testing in order to guarantee the information for consumers and meet the legislation for cosmetic products in Europe and the OTC category in the US. And for those who want to get started in sun care formulation, we hope this webinar will be a useful guide. In vivo and in vitro tests. We carry out both methods required by legislation before launching their product on the market. In vivo tests on subjects and in vitro tests. Protection from sunburn, protection from UV radiation, determination of the critical body light. We hope that this webinar will serve as a reminder of the mandatory safety tested and be useful for innovating claims. Now, I will talk about the method to determine the sun protection factors. And what is the logical order to test the sun cream product? Sucre Research, we want to share a few steps according to our extensive experience, and you can get the best results. If you have several formulas, we recommend starting with the SPF test in vitro. And this way, you can test many formulations quickly and economically to select the best one before proceed to in vivo test on humans. Once the theoretical SPF is known, we can perform the test on subjects in two phases, okay? It started with a pre-test, and then we can continue with an extension to 10 subjects, but only if the results in the pre-test are okay. And depending on the formula, we can claim SPF and water resistance or very water resistance. And we can test the UVA protection claim both in vitro and in vivo, according to the needs of the market where your final product will be sold. And then it's possible to perform other efficacy in vivo or in vitro tests. Let's see each steps in detail. In vitro SPF test is a great way to test your different formulation in order to obtain quick and low-cost results. In vitro results are reliable, reproducible, very quick to obtain, and expensive. In our laboratory, we have the solar simulator and a standardized methodology performed by qualified technicians. We carry out in vivo SPF tests according to the ISO standard and following the FDA guidelines. Okay, about the claim water resistance or water immersion for 40 minutes and very water resistance or water immersion 80 minutes, we follow the guidelines, COLIPA, FDA, and the new ISO. All tests are intended to be read in conjunction with the SPF test according to the ISO guidelines. UVA evaluation is carried out according to the following ISO guidelines. First, a standard for in vitro tests include the critical wavelength determination. And second one, for in vivo tests, we recommend perform UVA in vitro or in vivo tests according to the needs of the market where your final sunscreen product will be sold. And what makes of different solar testing? Well, we have the facilities to perform in vitro and in vivo tests. Our headquarters in Madrid for the clinical testing and the in vitro laboratory located in South Spain. Secondly, doing both tests with us implies only one contact person and a faster turnaround time. We have the experience of testing according to standardized protocols for ISO and FDA, and therefore you can sell your product in different markets. As you know, there are other claims to make your product stand out in the market. I will mention some studies in vivo and in vitro that can provide added value and make your sunscreen product more attractive than other formulas with the same category. We can perform in vivo tests to evaluate claims such as sweat resistance, salt resistance, friction resistance, and wet skin. As well, in vivo tests to support innovating claims such as protection against blue light, non-comedogenic, no tears, anti-aging, hypoallergenic, dermatologically tested, ophthalmologically tested. This can be complete with other in vitro studies, such as phototoxicity, protection against blue light, infrared light, visible light, ingredients absorption, and skin penetration test, biodegradability to claim eco-friendly or environmental friendly, and skin microbiome evaluation to claim microbiome friendly, or keep the microbiome balance. Also, we can carry out tests to evaluate the efficacy of products related to sun care claims, such as tanning effect, tanning enhancer, tanning prolongation with UVA irradiation. And what are facilities, timelines, and process for solar tests? Okay, in this point, we want to highlight several improvements that we have implemented, such as more physical space in our facilities dedicated to testing solar products, investment in additional equipment for in vivo and for in vitro testing, and increase the number of specialized technicians. Okay, many of you may be thinking, how long will in vivo and in vitro testing take in total? Because you want to test your formula now and you need to know it in advance. Well, let's see the time in each step. Okay, for in vitro SPF screening, between 2 and 3 days. For in vivo SPF pre-test, for just 1 week. And 1 more week, you can get the value of the SPF in 10 subjects. Okay, for water resistant and very water resistant, 3 weeks. And in vitro UVA determination is performed in just 1 week, and UVA in vivo test in 3 weeks. And you can ask about the time for other efficacy tests, because the schedule is according to this time. Despite the global pandemic situation, our solar test time have not changed. We have adjusted our facilities according to the social distance, indications, and taking the appropriate technical and operational measures to perform in vivo testing. To finish the webinar, I want to let you know that Circle Search is member of the International Working Group ISO, representing Spain for the sunscreen products efficacy testing. We would like to invite you to test our service for the efficacy and the safety of your sunscreen formulation, and enjoy the summertime, taking care of your skin. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. Okay, now I am going to ask some questions. I have received in this presentation. Let me read the first one. 1 minute. Okay, I have one here. Okay, can you test water resistance in vitro? Yes, yes. We can perform the water resistant in vitro test in our laboratory. Okay. And also the very water resistant test. But I don't include this test in the webinar because I want to highlight the safety test mandatory by law, and also mention the innovating test we perform in the laboratory. But please know that this in vitro test is not valid for labeling to the packaging, okay? But the in vitro determination can help you to select from several formulas, okay? Let me see, I have here another question. Okay, can the SPF test be conducted now in summer? I mean, summer conditions could possible, summer condition could possible have an impact on the results? Okay, well, it's summer, yeah. This question is only for testing subjects, okay? And the short answer is yes. We can carry out SPF in vivo studies during the summer. The reason is we take the ETA value on the skin of the volunteers, okay? To be 100% sure that this subject can or not participate in the test, okay? And of course, during the period, the testing period, the subject not allowed to swim in pool or take some bath. Sorry. Okay, I have another question here. How come your turnaround time is so quick? I think you mentioned that we could have SPF UVB results on 10 subjects in about 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, yeah, yes. We can give you on a schedule results in between 2 and 3 weeks, okay? This is our current turnaround time. And well, the reason is we have a big database of volunteers, okay? And if these volunteers are specifically rated for solar testing, okay? And another reason is we work from Monday to Friday, 12 hours, okay? And Saturdays until noon, okay? And this is the reason why we have the opportunity to give you quick results and test many products in 1 week, okay? Well, for more questions, feel free to contact us, and we will be happy to advise you, and it will be a pleasure to work together in the near future. I wish you all a lovely afternoon, and I really hope to see you soon in next cosmetics events. Bye-bye.